Okay, hello, can you guys hear me? I am so sorry about that. Wow, I hate when I just ramble and then you guys can't hear me at all. Oh my god. Thank you, Cole, for letting me know. Okay, because I was just off on a tangent. All right, so let me start from the beginning. Hi guys, welcome. So the reason why I was a little bit late is because I was ordering food. This marks like the This marks the last week until I go on my anti-inflammatory diet. I have to cut out sugar for my whole entire diet. It's not faring well for me at the moment, right? And so I ordered a avocado slushy and some taro treats, and I'm probably gonna eat a little bit more tomorrow, and then I'm probably after that I'm gonna cut it off, and then I'm just gonna go on my diet and just see how it goes from there. It's not so much that I'm trying to lose weight as much as I just want to feel better so that I can exercise and I don't feel inflamed all the time. So that is the steps I'm taking. I'm trying to avoid becoming pre-diabetic. So thank you, Cole. Or ending up with type 2 diabetes. So I feel like this is the best way to fix that. So that's why we were a little late. And also the stream is going to be quite short. I'm going to go through my must-see deck of pop culture rants and things that are on my mind. And then I will have to close things off because I am going to be busy tomorrow. I'm going to see Beyonce again for the second time. And one of my friends is coming over at noon and I'm going to help her do her makeup. So I am going to be incredibly busy. So I just want to come in, say my piece, and exit. Before we get into the deck, though, here are a couple of updates I want to talk about. The first one being Trump and apparently the Epstein list that Jeffrey Epstein, I guess, had or was acquired based off of the individuals who were on the Epstein Island who partook in party favors and excursions and a bunch of inappropriate things with minors and young women has ceased to exist. I guess it no longer exists anymore. Like that list, it doesn't like the FBI came out and said that it's actually not real. And that's crazy, right? Because a couple months before Trump was in office, the list dropped and had a couple names on it. High profile names. So the list just ceasing to exist is wacky to me. And I know a lot of MAGA people, like their whole agenda for voting Trump back in was to go against the Democrat elites and the celebrity elites, right? And I guess in their eyes, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, sans social media, I guess, sans content creators, sans influencers, that whole industry is demonic, satanic, and needs to be exposed for the awful things that they have done to people. And somehow the Democrats are entangled in all of that. The Democrats is like the main entertainment, main media. Disney, I guess, is thrown in there because they show representation like once every so often, right? All of these like big profile, big companies that are seemingly left-leaning conglomerates are somehow demonic and somehow in on this big wackadoodle conspiracy theory of like underage kids being trafficked, right? And people being trafficked. Now, I do believe in the trafficking thing. I do believe that happens, but I personally believe my conspiracy theory is along the lines of it happens more in your face than it would like underground. While the underground stuff does exist and people do get kidnapped and end up being in like really awful situations, I also believe that it does, like for example, the whole Diddy case, a lot of what he was found guilty of, which was like iterations of trafficking, right? Like that is more likely to happen where it's just like a casual exchange of, hey girl, you want to earn a couple hundred tonight? Hey girl, you want to earn a couple thousand tonight? You want to earn like 20 bands tonight? My boy has this big yacht with a lot of rich dudes. Like I feel like that is more of a realistic version of trafficking than like Taken. However, I do believe that the movie Taken, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the movie where Liam Neeson's daughter gets trafficked in Paris and goes through a sex ring and all of that. The movie's really good. And I do believe shit like this happens all the time. But I think the more common form of trafficking is just like, you know, your homegirl convincing you to earn a couple of bands that one night, and then it turns into like a whole excursion or a whole cycle that you can't get out of, right? However, I guess the Republicans would like to believe that, or like the right wing people would like to believe that it's a little bit more extravagant than that. And I guess the reason why they wanted Trump back in office is because in their minds they thought he was going to expose everybody who was on the Epstein list. That's a little crazy to me and a little wacky to me because there have been several pictures of this man in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, and I don't see why I don't see why any MAGA person would actually believe that Trump would be willing to expose all of his friends, all of his comrades, and all of the wrongdoings Jeffrey did. Especially if it's like allegedly that he was, it's alleged that he was on the island too, and his name is on there, like of him being on the island as well. And so, I guess a couple days ago, somebody asked about his thoughts on the Epstein list, and he kind of like gaslit everybody and was saying, let's not talk about that right now. We have to worry about Texas. We have other things to worry about. We can't worry about the list right now. I guess this is the video where that happened, right? And now they've come out and said that the list doesn't exist. And I guess a lot of like the right-wing wackadoodle conspiracy theorist folks who voted this man back in are pissed, as they should be, but like, are you really surprised? As I was saying before, I realized that my mic was muted. So the MAGA people out there that actually voted this man back in and thought he would be the what's the word? The clapback to the demonic mainstream media Democratic left. Are you guys not embarrassed? Like, are you guys not embarrassed? Are you guys not ashamed? Are you guys not like, are you guys tired of being made into a joke? I think that's the theme of tonight, because we're going to talk about another fan base or group of people who constantly get shown up by their fave over and over again. And I think I want to start with the MAGAs, because at this point they're in a cult. Do you guys not get embarrassed by being proven wrong about everything that you thought this man would say? Everything that you thought this man would stand against? This man said that he would take y'all out of the war of Palestine and Israel. Why are we bombing Iran? Now we're bombing Iran. Why is that happening? This man said that he would cut costs for big businesses and he would remove unnecessary costs like DEI and whatever the fuck else, right? In the name of sticking up for the little guy and the farmers, you know, and the small business owners. And we realize time and time again that he's like cutting jobs. He's gutting a lot of roles federal roles, and we're also realizing that he never gave a shit about any of the farmers, about any of the small business owners, and that this big beautiful bill that is going to be signed in is going to cut a lot of like his main supporters' sources of income, or not sources of income as much as like resources, benefits, Medicaid, food stamps, welfare. Do you not get tired of being made a fool out of? like, this is ridiculous. And now, like, the one thing that y'all thought you could bank on him for, which was the Epstein list and him exposing all of these wealthy Democratic elites, right? Now he's saying the list doesn't exist and that he doesn't want to expose it because he doesn't want to ruin the lives of The people that were over there doing all, like, God knows what with who, underage, like, shame on me for thinking that people weren't as stupid as I thought they were. Like, shame on me for thinking that people weren't that stupid, right? Because why the fuck would you ever try to support this man? Like, why the fuck would you ever want this guy back in? If it was a matter of, oh, well, the Democrats don't know what they're doing, the Democrats are awful, they only care about their own, wealthy elites, what made you think that this man was any different? This man is a failed business mogul. None of his businesses really worked out. And how I know this to be true is because he ended up having to lean on reality TV show when he had his whack-ass Apprentice show, which is when I loved him the best. I loved The Apprentice. I thought that was the best show that came out there, right? But every single business he's came out with has flopped. Maybe he owns a couple of businesses here and there, but, like, why did y'all make a celebrity a president? What happened? Like, the people who are shouting to the rooftop, meritocracy, do away with DEI and put in meritocracy. Why did it skip him? He was going up against Hillary Clinton that has more than enough experience, whether you like her or not. She has more than enough experience than this man, and he was able to get in. Why do you guys keep falling for the okie doke? Why do you guys keep being, like, dumb and loud and wrong about this? Like not only dumb, but loud and wrong about being dumb. Like, why do you guys do that? Like, and this is a rhetorical question. I don't need you to answer me as to why you do. Like, I know why, right? Like, people vote based off of emotions. People vote based off of, fear, if you can instill enough fear in them. And I am convinced, the older that I get, unpopular opinion, that if you can convince a group of people who are not in the same class as you, who are poorer than you, that their enemies and villains are marginalized people, of different races, of different orientations, of different sexualities, than the actual wealthy people who are hoarding all the money, then more than likely you can control them and have them do whatever you want them to do in politically. You can have them vote for a complete buffoon who has no qualifications, who has not been voted in based off of meritocracy. He does not have any expertise whatsoever. Biden definitely had way more expertise in him, even though he was sick and falling apart in the White House, right? Kamala Harris definitely had more expertise than him. Most of the Republicans, I'm convinced, have very little expertise. They have very little expertise, but they have a lot of money to go around, and as long as they can just funnel the money to people to push whatever agenda they have, then they'll be good. But yeah, apparently this is going on, and a lot of, ground floor Republicans are, really pissed about it. They're really angry. They feel like Trump lied to them because he's not exposing the Epstein list at all. He doesn't want to do that. And that's unfortunate, but that's who you voted in, so it is what it is. We're going to talk about Beyonce very quickly, but in a minute, but I also wanted to dunk on J-Lo a little bit because when I realized that J-Lo's career was literally made off the backs, the literal backs, crawling on, stomping on top of Black women, right? Just stomping on them. Never really had the voice. Never really had the talent. Dances pretty well. I'll give her that. She's a wonderful dancer. Wonderful, wonderful dancer. But was never going to come anywhere near Beyonce as far as expertise, as far as work ethic. It just never was gonna happen. It was never gonna happen for her. She cannot sing. She's a good dancer. There's a lot of good dancers, and I feel like her career was always made off of the back of Mariah Carey's ex-husband, ex-music producer husband, or music exec husband trying to embarrass her. with this woman, right? Just to say, see, I can make my own celebrity. I don't need you, right? J-Lo isn't talented. I do believe that they do take inspiration from each other, right? Like, that kind of happens sometimes. But at this point, like, it's getting a little cringe. And I'm glad that J-Lo's getting her comeuppance. I'm glad that people are realizing that she isn't shit, that she never really was all that relevant. It feels like J-Lo never really liked Beyonce to begin with. Apparently there was this old interview that Beyonce and J-Lo did where I guess J-Lo tried to push Beyonce into a pool or something. She said that she pushed her into a pool, like, hee hee ha ha, I did that. Like, okay, girl. J-Lo is a weirdo that keeps copying Beyonce for whatever reason, because I guess she wants to be her, but has the level of delusion to not realize in order to be a Beyonce, you actually have to have talent. And I just need to let everybody know that. J-Lo is a joke. I kind of knew that she was copying Beyonce when she did a documentary about her Super Bowl performance. Y'all remember that? When she did her Super Bowl performance with Shakira? Everybody was there for Shakira. No one was there. No one was there for J-Lo. Okay? Everyone was there for Shakira. Alright? But she did a documentary about it, similar to what Beyonce did for Beychella. Beyonce drops this visual album, amazing, iconic, Lemonade. It does very, very well. And then J-Lo, a whole decade later, drops her own visual album that is so, like, fake and unrealistic. This Is Me Now, which was awful and high budget and high budget and awful. Just has nothing to do with her. And that's when I think everyone started turning on her and dunking on her and being like, she's not even from the Bronx like that. Like, she lies about her whole existence. And I think it all really stems from her not really having any talent and her whole, like, brand being built off of literal black women, Ashanti's vocals, Brandy's vocals. Like, is it really that hard to find a light-skinned adjacent girl who can actually sing and dance? Is it that difficult? Is it that difficult? Jeez. Anyway, yeah, I felt like dunking on J-Lo, so there's that. All right, moving on. I'm reading this book again, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I feel like your favorite book can tell you a lot about you, a lot about who you are as a person, and what you, like, stand for. And as of recently, like in the past 5 years, this book right here has been one of my favorite books. Like, I'm obsessed with this book. I'm obsessed with Evelyn Hugo. I'm obsessed with her personality, the messiness, the drama of it all. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but if you've read this book, then you understand why I idolize Evelyn a lot. I think she's amazing. And I think this book is awesome. And for anybody who's interested in knowing, like, a general plot, Evelyn Hugo is, like, this big, huge, big profile Hollywood actress that got started in, like, the late 1950s. And it basically talks about her life and her entanglements with the 7 husbands that she's had from the time she left Hell's Kitchen to get started in Hollywood, to her later years as being an icon solidified in Hollywood and mainstream media. It's a very good book. There is a twist. I'm not going to spoil it, but I do recommend you guys read it. And I don't know. I want to be Evelyn Hugo. Not all the toxic parts. Well, I don't even say that she's, like, toxic as much as she's just, like, a product of her time, you know, as we all are. But, like, I'm obsessed with this woman. So, yeah, I definitely recommend you guys read this book if you're interested in some messiness. And yes, let's get into it. Let's get into my musty deck, okay? So again, this is gonna be the Hey Exes, what's on your mind, right? So this is a collection of unhinged thoughts I've had during this past week. Previously, the previous deck I had said an allocation, and I looked up what allocation is. The process of allocating or distributing something. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say a collection of unhinged thoughts that I have to get out. Okay. But this is some of the things I want to talk about today. Some of the things I'd like to discuss. I'd like to go through with all y'all. And I think the theme of today's musty deck and unhinged thoughts is the culture and mindset of people who blindly follow folks that don't even know who you are and who won't even piss on you if you were on fire, who wouldn't even spit in your direction if you were to spontaneously combust. That's the theme, okay? All right. Starting off strong with me going to the Cowboy Carter tour. I talked about this briefly yesterday, but I want to talk about this again. It rewired my brain chemistry. It absolutely did. Yes, it did. Yes, ma'am. And I won't stop talking about it. Next week, I will be able to wean off of the Cowboy Carter tour because I will be, it'll be done, right? And then we're probably going to do it all over again 2-3 years from now. But I enjoyed myself. Beyonce is incredibly talented. Beyonce deserves all her flowers. And I think this is also why I dunk on J-Lo, because how dare you just steal everything Miss Beyonce does? Why would you steal everything Miss Beyonce does? Like, you can't, like, there's just so much J-Lo could pull from. Like, she is Latina. She is from the Bronx. Like, she doesn't have to pull directly from Beyonce. Like, Shakira and Beyonce do get some comparisons from time to time. And it even was called out that Shakira did copy Beyonce a little bit for her tour, which I did see here and there. But, like, Shakira doesn't have, like, she's not copying Beyonce, like, bar for bar, band for band, the way J-Lo is. It's embarrassing because don't compete where you can't even you can't even compare. Why are you comparing? Like, we could stop with the comparisons. I know some of y'all's faves love to be compared to Miss Beyonce, but, like, it's just not. It's just, like, let's just be real here. A lot of the talent out now is mid as fuck. It's mid as fuck, and it might be because of the state of the music industry, because a lot of money isn't really in music anymore in the way that it used to. A lot of people really have to go out and above and beyond and actually buy the vinyls and buy the CDs and the hard copies of their faves. Otherwise, they're not making that much money from streaming, right? And honestly, with the way Spotify is going, I don't think we should be supporting Spotify anymore. My personal opinion. I don't think we should. I may have to forego my Spotify account because they are investing in, the founder or the CEO is investing in AI military weapons. So I'm not in support of that. So I might have to I might have to go to Apple Music. That's all I'm gonna say. But we're never gonna have another Beyonce. I was telling my friend this because this will be her first concert that I'm taking her to for Beyonce, like her first Beyonce concert. I was telling her how there will never be another Beyonce, unfortunately. If there is, I could do a whole musty deck on who I think Beyonce's daughters are, but I think the closest it'll probably be is Blue Ivy, maybe, if she can sing. And even if she can rap, like, you know, rapping on its own holds a lot of talent as well, you know? But Beyonce really takes the cake as one of the best performers of our time. Right up there next to Michael Jackson. I don't like to do comparisons with her and Michael Jackson because people get a little sensitive about that. But she is up there, man. She is very, very up there. She is very, very talented. And, you know, that tour was just amazing. It was beautiful. Some of the things that she was pulling from. I can't wait to go see it again tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get upgraded seats because we are in the nosebleeds. If I can't, oh well, it's fine. But yeah, this was amazing. This tour is amazing. Word on the street is she's coming out with a rock album next tour, and if that is true, I will be very excited. Rock is one of my favorite genres. I actually have a strong disdain towards country music, and it's not so much like the roots of country music, because we all know that they kind of started by people of color. Country music was started by people of color, but it mostly has a lot to do with the how country has evolved and how gatekeepy country has become. Even though they still use the same 808 trap beats in their music, but then they keep black people out of the genre. All the disdain in the world. All the disdain in the world. I hate country. There's like a few I can make space for. I like Tanner Adele, and I like Shabuzi, and I like, who else do I like? I like whoever was on Blackbird with Beyonce, but that's it. I don't really like too many else. I like 90s country too, like Shania Twain and Dolly Parton, but like country music as a genre and what it's evolved into, I'm very disappointed, right? But yeah, like I said, who's gonna be Beyonce's daughter when she eventually retires? Possibly Blue Ivy if she decides to rap. I do see a lot of the hip hop artists like Doechii kind of taking on, because she has like a little bit of a Beyonce style to her. Like she's really into the vision, and that's pretty impressive. And so with that in mind, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of my musty deck, and we're gonna talk about Miss Onika Maraj and the controversies that she has gotten herself into. Okay, so over the past couple of days, Nicki Minaj, the rapper, the queen of rap herself, okay, the one who started it all, or started this new generation of rap. She didn't start like female rap, but like she started this new generation of women in hip hop, right? Prototype for a grade A hip hop formula for a woman to enter that space and take up a lot in that genre of music. She has been beefing with Jay-Z again. Again. This, like, I keep my ears to the ground. I like a little kiki. I like watching pop culture news and Impressive and all of that. And, this isn't the first time she hasn't called out Rock Nation, Jay-Z's marketing company, or, like, Rock Nation adjacent people who work close to Rock Nation. I think Desiree Perez is also the CEO of the management company as well. People who are in Jay-Z's camp, who have said disparaging things about Nicki Minaj. Like, this isn't the first time that she has gotten into a kerfuffle and called out Jay-Z, titled Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, and everybody under that management company, right? Recently she has said that Jay-Z owes her about 100 million to 200 million so far, I guess. And anybody who knows Nicki Minaj as a person, like music aside, that Nicki Minaj is very, very, what's the word? Very controversial. She's very outspoken. She talks a lot. She talks a lot on Twitter. And she goes on a lot of rants on Twitter as well about who she's fallen out with, who she's having beef with, who she's been exposing, who she wants to expose, a lot of stuff, right? And as of recently, she's called out Jay-Z again for not paying her, and she's also called out Rock Nation for doing some shitty things in the music industry with their talent and not paying the people that are adjacent to her, who are under Rock Nation as well. But I just want to reach out to the Barbs very quickly, okay? And I'm coming in peace and love because I know you guys can be very volatile, but can we have a really can we just have a real honest conversation, like a very honest heart to heart conversation about Nicki Minaj? Like, can we just do that for like a few minutes? Just a few minutes. Can I just like look at me in my eyes, okay? Like, okay, look at me in my eyes right now. All right. Now, I am not gonna say that Nicki Minaj isn't a talented rapper, that she can't rap, that she's untalented, that she didn't pay her dues to get to where she is. I'm not going to say that, okay? Because that's absolutely true. Like, she is a very talented rapper. She worked very, very hard. She's also a very beautiful woman too, who has been able to hold her own so long in the music industry and has been able to earn the respect of like hip hop moguls, hip hop artists in a very sexist genre as hip hop music itself, right? Like, I will give flowers where it's given. You could even argue that she still technically is the queen. She is the queen of rap when it comes to sales, when it comes to impact, when it comes to sold out tours. Like, she was able to do a second leg of her tour and her Barbs still came out and supported her, right? Like, she has iconic music, right? Like, where were you when Pink Friday dropped? Where were you when the Nicki Minaj diss track dropped? Where were you when Anaconda dropped? Like, she has very notable and iconic moments in her life and has been a monumental pillar in the music industry when it comes to hip hop and how it should be, how it can be commodified and how it can be used to support how it can benefit women and how women could leverage their own in a male dominated space. Like, I'm not going to take that away from Nicki Minaj at all. Okay? However, you guys gotta understand that she's tarnishing her legacy. Like, you guys got to understand that at this point, with all the things, all the achievements, all the flowers she's gotten, the Pink Friday 2 rollout, the success of the rollout without having to do too much. She literally had AI and her Barbs push Pink Friday 2 in Gag City. She was able to go on 2 legs, 2 tours, 2 whole tours, 2 whole circuits for Pink Friday 2. All of her audience knew all of the words to all of her songs. She threatened, I don't know, maybe to scare the other hip-hop girlies, she threatened to come out with a Pink Friday 3, and the Barbs came out with a vengeance. They were like, yes, bitch, drop that Pink Friday 3, annihilate all the other girls. Like, we can address that Nicki Minaj arguably can be the queen of hip-hop. Does that mean that I like her? No. Like, I can't stand this woman. I really don't like her. But I will pay respect when I see it, when I say that she has put in a lot into the genre, into the industry. With that in mind, she is tarnishing her legacy when she goes out on snowflake-coated rants talking about who owes her what, when they owe her money, and whatever rapper, flavor rapper of the week she falls out with. I have heard in the pipeline several times that Roc Nation owes her money because apparently Jay-Z, when he had Tidal, he asked Nicki Minaj to push the Tidal, which was the streaming service that he owed, asked Nicki Minaj to push it and that she would get a stake in the company if Tidal was successful. Apparently there was paperwork that she didn't sign, right? She didn't sign any paperwork, I guess. So, which is weird because there was a video of her signing paperwork, but maybe it wasn't the actual contract. And so now Nicki Minaj feels slighted because she put some of her music on Tidal and she did not get her money's worth. And I guess when Jay-Z sold it, he hoarded all the money himself. But it wasn't just Jay-Z that did this to her. He also did this to other talent as well. You know what I mean? It just wasn't her. However, the other talent that he did that to, I believe they sued him in court. They brought it to the courthouse. Okay, like they got off the internet and they filed a lawsuit so that at least they could settle on something, right? Okay, here's the problem with Nicki, okay? All right, and I'm saying this with love, all right? The problem with Nicki is that she is too busy going out on snowflake coded rants on Twitter, high off of that snow, high off of those yerks, I don't know, all right, high off of whatever, going on these rants sporadically, I would argue strategically, every time something comes up about like a female rapper getting their dues, getting their flowers, like, I'm gonna read this real quick, but this whole rant that she had about Beyonce, this is about Beyonce, came out as soon as Cardi B was caught going to the Cowboy Carter tour when Kelly Rowland had sat in her lap, and I guess they were yucking it up about whatever the fuck, right? So this right here says, I ain't the one to drag no family into this, but let's be honest. That whole squad of yours looking suspect. You can't control your man. Your sis stay irrelevant. And don't even get me started on that daddy situation. The whole fam been messy, but y'all trying to act like it's all love and light. Bitch, SBWHQ. Bitch, HSBWHQ, please. What does this even mean? When did we start abbreviating phrases? Can we stop doing that on the internet? I know that we only have a certain amount of characters that we can say on Twitter, but can we like stop? And this is when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, so you can write more. Can we stop doing that? Because I don't know what HSBWHQ means. And I'm not gonna sit up here and think and try to figure out what it interprets as, right? But like, this was about Beyonce. Obviously, this was about Beyonce, and I think she deleted this, and she was very obscure about it. And she was in her best interest to delete this because the Beehive does not only is the Beehive like very loyal to Beyonce, but like the Beehive are grown. Okay, the Beehive is grown. Okay, the Beehive is grown, and they got grown people jobs. They got grown women jobs. Okay, they will eat up the little immature 15 to 25-year-old barbs that have no time that have all the time on their hands and are absolutely unemployed. They will eat them up for breakfast. Okay, mop the floor with them. So like, she was in her best interest to get rid of this tweet, right? Coming for Beyonce, why? I don't know. She has been talking about Beyonce in her songs. I don't know why. I don't know what Beyonce has anything to do with all of this. I think this is just to come for Jay-Z. But I guess my question is, why doesn't she just go to the court? If this man really truly does owe her money, can she not just go to the courts at this point? Can she actually have some decorum in the way a queen should? A queen of hip hop, mind you, should. And can she get off of the internet, put the snowflake sugar powder down, put the yerks down, put it all down, and just go to the courthouse and file a lawsuit against this man? What is with it with all these celebrities who have beef with Jay-Z, Megan, Cardi, whoever's getting into like whatever drama in the hip hop space? What is with them taking it to the internet first? Tory Lanez did the same thing with Megan Thee Stallion. Mind you, the shit that he was accusing Megan Thee Stallion of, he wasn't even in the courthouse for. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't even brought into court for. Megan didn't bring him to jail because he shot her. He was brought to the courts because he had an illegal possession of a weapon as a non-US citizen. Like, come on now. Like, come on. And the same goes for Nicki. Why is she always online ranting every time it seems like a new rap girlie is about to get her flowers? If not a new rap girlie, just for shits and giggles. Like, it makes no sense at this point. Allegedly, I think the idea is that, or the concept is that Nicki wanted to be a Rock Nation girl. She wanted the same treatment that Megan is getting right now, but she didn't get it. And I think the reason why is because she's too outspoken and she is a little unprofessional. She's not willing to conform. So Megan got it, right? Megan has a bit more decorum, right? I guess she was able to go along to get along, or whatever goes on over there. And I don't know, maybe there's some resentfulness because of that. Maybe she's a little resentful. I really don't know. But at this point, Barbs, I need y'all to understand that your queen's legacy has been tarnished. Your queen's legacy has been tarnished. And if I can just move to the next... Pretend this is a fraction, okay? You know what fractions are? You know what fractions? Remember this? Math. Third grade math. I used to hate fractions. Fractions would stress me out. The line, and I'm not a math girl, but you remember this stuff, fractions? Okay. So the top is your numerator and the bottom is your denominator, okay? So the numerator is all of these rappers, all of these celebrities that these singers, these artists, these people that she has fallen out with. You got Cardi B. She fell out with Cardi B because, you know, they kind of propped her up to go toe-to-toe and band for band with Nicki Minaj, basically. Like, Atlantic built her up to be Nicki Minaj's op. I can understand why she has beef with Cardi B. I'm not gonna lie, I get it. But then you got Megan. She's beefing with Megan because I guess she told her to get an abortion when they were like hanging out together. And then I guess more importantly, didn't join her iHeartRadio, or what was it called? Her station head after she got on a song with her. After Nicki got on a song with her. Can kind of understand, like, okay, I feel slighted. You said you were going to join my station head. You didn't. What happened there? I kind of get it. I kind of get why she would fall out with Meg in that regard. I don't understand why she would fall out with Meg because she told you to get an abortion when you were trying to have a kid. I really don't. Because she was probably kidding. Okay? And she didn't know that you were actually trying to have a child. You know, I felt like that was like a defamation of character attempt. Like, isn't she so awful? Like, she's just trying to pressure people to drink. She was pressuring me to drink. Okay, girl. But, like, you're over here all the time. All the time. Okay? Off camera. All the time. Okay? So, like, girl, what? Doja Cat, to this day, I don't know why she fell out with Doja Cat. I feel like, what was it? Get Into It, yeah? Doja Cat wanted, like, something happened where Nicki Minaj was supposed to be on Doja Cat's Get Into It, yeah song. She was on her Say So song, but, like, I guess Nicki didn't want to get into that, wanted to do that song for whatever reason. Something happened with their people, I guess. And so Doja Cat was like, fine, I'll rap that section. I'll rap it the way I wanted Nicki Minaj to rap it. And I guess that pissed Nicki off, so they fell out. Doechii is confusing, but to my understanding, Doechii just stopped following Nicki, which I don't blame her, girl. I don't blame her. Lotto kept giving Nicki her flowers, like constantly just get like flowers, Nicki, and then they fell out, and to this day I don't know why. I think Lotto really wanted a Nicki feature from her, and I don't know why it didn't happen, but then they ended up like Lotto ended up exposing recordings of them talking and how unhinged she sounds, and that fell out. Ice Spice was deserved. I'm not gonna lie. Ice Spice kind of fucked up because we knew Ice Spice wasn't gonna get that far, and she got too big in the head and thought that she was gonna go a lot farther than she expected to, and she thought that she was somehow better than Nicki, or Nicki needed her and Nicki needed to do a favor. For those of y'all who don't know, during the Barbie World remix for the Barbie movie, there was like some issues going on with Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, and Ice Spice felt away because she felt like Nicki Minaj was trying to like take her out of her like bread for the song, you know what I mean? So I can understand why Ice Spice would feel a way about that, would feel like she wasn't getting paid her worth or paid her credit. But also at the same time, Isis, okay, I'm gonna call you by your government name, Isis. Girl, you weren't gonna go that far anyway. Like, you weren't gonna go that far anyway. Like the beef between her and Lotto was wacky because we all knew Lotto won. We all knew that Lotto won that beef. We all knew that was gonna happen. And I think the tables really turned on her when she started beefing with Doechii out of nowhere, just like shitting on Doechii to baby Stormy, another dark-skinned girl. Like, that was just not the move, beloved. And then you're shit talking Onika. And like half of your fan base came from the Barbs. So that wasn't gonna work out. So that one kind of makes sense. I can understand why Nicki would want to fall out with her. I can understand why Nicki wouldn't be too fond of a Cardi B. And I can understand feeling a certain type of way because Megan Thee Stallion isn't joining your station head. However, we'll get to it. Let me go through JT. JT hurt the most for me because it really did seem like JT really was willing to defend Nicki. She was willing to defend, support, and uplift Nicki Minaj. And it didn't work out because I guess Nicki wanted her to get into some sort of rap 360 deal where she was somehow managing her. That wasn't going to work, Nicki, because you can't even manage your damn self. A lot of these active celebrities, a lot of these active artists can't manage their talent. Beyonce with Chloe and Halle is a good example. Okay, she can't manage those girls. She's too busy doing episodic movies with her cinematography-based level visuals with her Cowboy Carter, Renaissance, and eventually whatever Act 3 is going to be about. You know what I mean? Like there was just no way. There's just no way that an active celebrity, an active artist is going to be able to manage another artist successfully. Like, it's just not going to happen. Jay-Z, we already talked about it with the Rock Nation, him owing her money, yada yada. Miley Cyrus, where this clip came from, honestly. This GIF. And for those of you all who had so much to say in the press, Miley, what's good? Remember that scene? Remember that on MTV? Let's go back. Let's watch that really quickly because that was an iconic moment. All right. And she had no Chino shade. I love me some Miley Cyrus, but she had every right to clock that girl. She had every right to clock that girl. She had every right to clock her because Miley Cyrus was beside herself. This is Hannah Montana, mind you. Disney Channel queen, okay? Out here doing a full rebrand to hip-hop and a black person cosplay, okay? Nicki Minaj was right in calling her out and saying that it's funny that she was winning any sort of inkling or had any sort of adjacence to hip-hop culture. When you are literally Hannah Montana and your father is the Billy Ray Cyrus. Like, what are we doing? All right, let's watch this real quickly. Because when she got this award, she did check Miley.
And now, back to this bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good? Hey.
No, she ate her up. So I can understand why she has beef with Miley.
I know her.
Oh, shit.
Are you ready?
I can understand why she has beef with Miley. I get it. Miley was beside herself. She should have kept her mouth shut. If you want to do it, if you're white and you're gonna do a black person cosplay in order to get out of a child star contract, or in order to be taken more seriously and more adult as an artist, you best keep your mouth shut. In like 2010, okay, 2010, no, just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut and do what you got to do. Really, you shouldn't have to do that at all. I mean, look at Sabrina Carpenter. She used to be a Disney Channel star, and now she's an adult and talking about Juno sex positions. So, and she did not have to bite off of black culture to do so. But if you're gonna do it, just keep your mouth shut and don't talk about things you don't understand. So, I'll give Nicki that one, right? The one that I recently remember is Coi Leray. I guess they fell out because Coi Leray didn't want to pick up a Calvin Harris song that Nicki Minaj wanted to do. And she like threw to Coi Leray, was like, here, get on the song. Mind you, most of these women, with the exception of Lotto and Doechii and JT, and you know, including Jay-Z, women and Jay-Z, she has done a song with. Like, she has done songs with Cardi, she has done songs with Meg, Doja Cat, she's done songs with Ice Spice, Jay-Z on the Monster remix, Beyonce. Ooh, did not do a song with Miley, actually. Did a song with Coi Leray. It seems like every time these girls ask for a feature from Nicki Minaj and she gives it, like, they immediately fall out after, right? And it's seeming like at this point, as you can see, this, like, beautiful fraction I made, the common denominator is always Nicki. The common denominator is never anybody else. It's always her. She's always falling out with these girls. All right? Always falling out with these girls. Always going out on snowflake-coated rants. Always talking about how somebody slighted her, how somebody needs to give her flowers. What really sucked about JT is when she explained to her fans why her and JT were no longer together, because it seemed like JT was very hurt about it. She did, there was no explanation, honestly. Like, she was just like, I don't want you guys talking about anybody. I don't want you badgering me about anybody. I don't want you to have issues about anybody. Just me and JT are not cool anymore. Like, basically is what she alluded to. And JT was loyal as fuck. She was a literal lapdog for Nicki, going against Lotto, going against Cardi B. Like, she was a literal, like, she was doing obedient to the T. I guess they fell out. JT and her fell out because JT, she went on some obscure rant, but basically, what she was trying to hint at is that her management company or her team was trying to use JT as a spy or something. Trying to use her as a way to leverage how Nicki Minaj is able to get the success that she has. And so she had JT kind of pose, I guess, in her mind, pose as being her friend. And I don't believe that. I believe JT was actually her friend, so she can learn some tips and tricks. And then when she can finally venture out on her own, she will be able to do so with the inspiration, with the influence of Nicki Minaj, right? And Nicki Minaj wasn't having that. She really just wanted JT to sign some paperwork that I guess JT wasn't comfortable with, and, like, I guess sign under her rap label hit heavy on it. And again, active artists, you have no business having anybody under you unless they're, like, working to prop you up and uplift you. You have no business having any artist up under you, especially if you know that these girls are hungry and want to push their brand. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being real. I'm being honest, okay? Barbs, you guys are under spells. Let's have an honest conversation, okay? Let's have a very, very honest conversation. Nicki has always been the common denominator in all of her one-sided beefs. Almost always. Has always been the common denominator, has almost always been the issue, has almost always had a problem with all of these girls. What's crazy to me is that when Nicki first came out, there was a lot of backlash and hate for her being the new girl coming in. Similar to what you see with a lot of these new girls who are coming in right now. I'm just going to put them all under one umbrella. Similar to how they felt about Doechii, similar to how they feel about Lotto, similar to how they felt about Cardi, Meg, all of the rap girlies. Nicki got that hate, right? Nicki also went toe-to-toe with some rap veterans. Lil' Kim. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. Stupid. That song was a diss track to Lil' Kim. I remember that song clearly because a lot of those racist ass memes. Let me see if I can find it. You a stupid hoe. Yeah, society's opinion on music. This fuck shit. God, you a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. Amazing. You're not alone. We'll brave this story and face today. You're not alone. Stupid, emo, gay. What what the fuck has this world come to? Like, totally disregard all the other bars that this woman was on. All the other bars that this woman did, right? Like, let's not forget, Nicki got hate back in the day. Nicki got a lot of hate back in the day for just, like, being her weird, quirky self, okay? What about the other bars in that song? Like, what about the other? Why are you picking up the chorus? Okay, like disrespectful. Anyway. This track, You a Stupid Hoe, was towards Lil' Kim. And that was basically her saying, you know, I'm the only one, I'm the new girl, step aside, Lil' Kim, you know, I'm that bitch, I'm HBIC. She also came up early on in her career and shouted out Lil' Kim, Remy Ma, and all the girls, right? So, like, very, very much so fake love a little bit. Let's not forget that Nicki also... Minaj... Oh, where is it? Like, a lot of this, like the crazy wig shit that Lil' Kim was doing, Nicki Minaj did too, okay? Nicki Minaj crouching pose. Oh, girl, we can't show that. Yeah, this right here, yeah, come on, let's just be honest, right? Like, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? She took a lot from Lil' Kim, okay? Which is why when I see the Barbs get angry and up in arms, because, like, what? Wasn't she, like, posing like this? You know what I'm talking about? Like, they got really mad about that, and they were like, oh, she's copying Nicki, she's stealing Nicki's flow. And that's true. No, she does be copying flows. Yeah, this at the top right here. This at the top. Like, they were like, she's stealing her flow. She's stealing her flow and she's copying her look. Not really copying her look, stealing her flow, yes. Stealing her flow, yes. Yeah, probably, right? But, like, Nicki was derivative of, like, Lil' Kim, who kind of was the origin of, what is it called? Hood rich rap aesthetics. Like, hood rich city girl rap aesthetics, right? Like, she was the origin of that. Like, she originated that style with the crazy wigs and all of that. Now, eventually, Nicki kind of made it her own with the pink wig, thick ass, give them whip, like, the pink wig is hers, right? And, like, little personas that she had. But really, she was biting a lot. She was biting a lot off of Lil' Kim in the beginning. And it looked like at some point, and Lil' Kim even talks about this, that she wanted to be the only one. That she wanted to be the only woman rapper out there. That she really wanted to just be the only girl and not feel like she had to compete with anybody. And when I notice how I said feel like she has to compete with anybody versus like competing and winning against other people, right? Arguably, you can say that Nicki is still winning. She's still selling records. Her Barbs are still very loyal to her. She still goes out on tours and they sell out. Like, when Nicki speaks, everybody listens. I mean, we're talking about her right now, right? But it's just like the attitude and the energy and the choices that she has made have really tarnished her legacy of who she is as an artist. And it also feels like, it's like, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, and I know it's going to be a very unpopular opinion, but it's okay. But it also just feels like Nicki Minaj got comfortable in the idea of being the only one, but then kind of lost her way on how to prove that she was the only one. Sales aside, like, sales are sales, and stan culture aside, stans are always going to blindly support their faves, even if they give them mediocre doo-doo garbage. A good example, Bigfoot. Hiss v. Bigfoot. You cannot tell any Barb that Nicki Minaj lost that beef. Onika lost that beef. Okay, Megan won the beef. Megan won the beef. I'm pretty sure if she got back in the studio after that and came out with a diss towards Bigfoot, she would have still probably won that beef. Okay? Meg would have, like, Bigfoot was horrible. And y'all know Bigfoot was horrible. And y'all are like, no, these are bars. No, it's not. No, it's not. These aren't bars. Even with Sheether and Remy Ma, like, I don't know. I liked her diss track towards Remy Ma. I didn't mind it. Some people say they didn't like it, but it's fine. It's whatever. But the work ethic that some of these new girls have, I can kind of see has dwindled in Nicki a lot. Very quickly, let me see if I can find this. Okay. Nissan Altima live split. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn this down because I don't want to get copywritten. Okay, look at this. Okay, the girls are out here giving full-fledged performances with visuals and concepts and eras and all of that. And then, like, look at what, like, Doechii is rapping one of the hardest songs in her latest EP, Upside Down, doing splits, okay? Doing whole ass splits. Clapping her feet. I don't know what she's doing, all right? Megan's over here busting it wide open while talking about how she got a boot and a coat for her wet ass pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Cardi B was giving high budget, high quality visuals in every single music video that she came out with for every single single that she has. Lotto always gives it in her performances. Glorilla also is now giving it a lot in her performances. Okay? There has been more than enough times for Nicki to prove why she should still be number one when it comes to actual, like, bars and actual, not even actual bars, but when it comes to, like, the full package. We know that she can rap well. Do I think that she is rapping better than, like, how she used to in the mixtape Pink Friday days, Pink Print days? No, I don't. I think that a lot of the songs that came out from Pink Friday 2 were actually recycled songs that were scrapped from older music or older albums. I do believe that. And you can just tell from the production beat and all of that. But, like, the girls are out here proving why they can arguably be the princess of hip-hop. Or arguably still be, like, maybe eventually be the new queen of hip-hop. You know, like, they're out here proving themselves. They're out here doing splits and giving performances. Doja Cat's another one when she was in her hip-hop bag. Out here giving performances. And Nicki, I'm just gonna be honest with you, she's never really given that. She's just given stage presence, which can go far, but as far as, and, like, maybe, like, a little choreography here and there. But the reason why people still call Beyonce the queen is because she's doing the visuals, she's doing the choreography, she's doing the singing. Like, she deserves to be up there. She's giving you the work ethic of why, and letting you all know time and time again why she needs to be where she is. Why she's at that level, why a lot of these girls can't touch her. No matter how much sympathy payola and merchandise and re-recorded albums that they shove down your throat, okay? You can't go toe-to-toe with her. And, like, with Nicki, it's like, does she still get sales? Yes. Does her music still get streamed? Yes. But when it comes to other things, when it comes to, like, work ethic and, like, actual, like, vision and bars and, like, doing what these new girls are doing, the real reason why I can still arguably say that Nicki Minaj is considered the queen of hip-hop is because she sells well. She sells well. She sells out well. Her fans still know all the words to her songs. But a lot of these other girls are doing things that could solidify themselves as the next rap girl, rap queen, rap princess, rap whatever you want to call it, in the next 10, 20 years. Like, they're doing that. They're doing the thing. And they're doing it well. And honestly, like Nicki hasn't really been like doing that lately. The most she's been doing is when she feels sporadic and she feels froggy, she gets on Twitter and she goes on crazy ass rants about who owes her money, who needs to be exposed, what really happened with her fallout with Meg, what happened with her fallout with Lada, what happened with her fallout with Coi Leray, and it all just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. And then when she knows she's loud and wrong, like her fallout with JT, she's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. People just didn't sign the paperwork I wanted them to. And you know what's really fucking rich is that all of the girls that she has beef with listen to her. And they listen to that one song where she's like, it took a couple M's to sign the dotted line. Like, they listen to that. They listen to that as young pubescent kids, sans Jay-Z and Beyonce, because they were already in the industry by then, and maybe Miley. But all of the rest of them listened to that, and they looked up to that line, and they were like, yeah, it's going to take a couple M's for them to sign the dotted line. You know, I don't want anybody, you know, handing me a record label and a record deal and I just sign it and I don't think about anything, right? They listen to that. And then somehow, some way, Nicki puts them in a position where they have to swear their loyalty up and down, sniff up her booty crack, and do everything that she wants them to do. And if they don't do that, then she drops them like a bad habit. And now she's beefing with them. And now they lose the support. And now they lose the support of the Barbs. And now they lose the support of everybody else. And now they're like irrelevant. You know what I mean? Which is why I think that, in all honesty, you should probably build your own fan base organically without people for this reason alone. Because people like her get on ego trips. But it's just like, y'all gotta be honest. Like, Nicki isn't hitting the way she used to. Like, she's still selling and fans still support her because of nostalgia. But when all that's dried up, when people inevitably get older, when the girls out here really give them a run, give us a run for their money, and are out here outperforming, outdoing, out-rapping in some cases, coming up with very innovative ideas, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you guys gonna do? Like, you guys got to understand that Nicki has like tarnished her legacy significantly. And it really, honestly, it really tarnished when she got with that dude, when she got with Kenneth Petty. That's when the internet started turning on her. That's when the internet just stopped supporting her. Is when she got with this man who was accused of assaulting a teenager, right? Who also went to jail for it. And she was dumb enough to marry this dude. And now Megan's Law, right? The diss that Megan made in her his song, right? Now she has to register him everywhere she travels to because of his alleged charges. And mind you, like, this is okay. Mind you, like, she really could have had anybody, bro. Like, bad as fuck, very beautiful, very talented. She could have been with any dude, like any dude that would be her brand. In my head canon, her and Kanye would be like crazy together. Her and Kanye would be diabolical as fuck. Like Whitney and Bobby Part 2, but it would have like it would have made sense. Like, I felt like they would have at least built their brand up, right? But getting with this dude who I guess has ties to, like, I don't know, gangs or whatever, allegedly, and in some cases I argue like he protects her, I guess. I don't know. Which I guess with street logic, I guess that makes sense a little bit. But it's just like, girls, ladies, I'm talking to the ladies. A man can really ruin your reputation. Like, if you don't pick the right dude, he could, like, ruin your whole reputation, your whole brand, and everything you stand for if you are not careful. If you are not on your... Okay. if you are not on your P's and Q's, okay? And this is a prime example of that. Because, like, what do you mean marrying a former PDF file? And you know what's sad about it all? It's not just that she, like, married a PDF file and kind of, like, did away with the situation. Like, or just kind of, like, did whatever. It's like she married the PDF file and then she tried to bury the situation by contacting the woman that he assaulted personally, harassing her, and then asking her to, like, take some hush money to, like, say that he didn't do it, or just to kind of do away with the situation. And then when she didn't want to take it, because she's just like this innocent civilian, she sends her legion of barbs to go after this woman. What is it? Jennifer Huff, I think is her name? Go after this woman and harass her for not taking the hush money. I don't like this woman. I think she's very talented. I think she's beautiful. And I think she's too talented and beautiful to be boiling herself down to this, boiling herself down to associating with this man, boiling herself down to going out on yerked out, snowflake dust rants on Twitter. But, like, that is low. That is a new level of low. And for somebody who constantly talks about, like, women empowerment and supporting women and being a girl's girl or whatever, or, like, you know, girl's girl type of music and, like, you know, don't take shit from any of these men, it is very rich that you wouldn't come to the defense of this girl, or you just let bygones be bygones. You just, like, let whatever happen and sit in your decision of being dumb enough to marry a PDF file. Not even a PDF file, a rapist. Like, I hate using these dumb terms on the internet. I wish I could just say what I want. But, like, seriously, y'all, this is embarrassing. Like, she, like, tarnished her legacy and boiled it down to whenever she's not active, whenever the music isn't dropping, because let's talk about it now. Lil Wayne dropped his most recent album, and it's trash. It's awful. It's terrible. And then the song that Nicki Minaj was on, nobody was checking for. No one was clearing for it. Nobody was clocking it, right? Nobody was clocking it. Is it not clocking to you? No, nobody was checking for that song that she was on with Lil Wayne. And so now, I guess to maintain some sort of relevancy, now she's doing this again. Doing this. And everyone's just like, girls, go home. I don't like the ageist, like, nurse, she's out of the... she's off her meds, right? But like, girl, like, go do Pink Friday 3. What happened to that? Go in the studio, make some music. What happened to that? Why are you on Twitter? Why are you popping up on Twitter? This isn't queen behavior. Doechii over here doing splits, rapping in Nissan Altima. Lyle over here giving performances. Glorilla, Meg, all these girls are giving the performances of their lives. And you're over here ranting about how Jay-Z owes you money instead of actually going to the court of law and asking this man for your money, demanding this man give your money. No one's going to take you seriously if you keep going on coked out rants. Oops. I had to say it. Sorry, not sorry, but no one's going to take you seriously. You know what I mean? So it's embarrassing. So Barbs, when are you gonna, just like the MAGA people, just like the mag charts, when are you going to realize that enough is enough? That there's only so much defending you can do. And it's not just the Barbs. The Swifties are doing it now with Taylor, because her redneck boyfriend is doing redneck shit with some, like, MAGA people and Proud Boy people, allegedly, and she's taking pictures with him, and it's like, and the Swifties are like, oh no, she's trapped, I don't know what's going on, she doesn't know, she's just playing, you know, the long game. I just don't know, girl. Taylor is a Bob. She's a chameleon Bob. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. And she is changing her colors based off of who she's dating. The dude she dated before Matt Healy, I don't know his name. He was more into activism, apparently. Like, left-leaning activism. So obviously she's going to be more into that. A lot of her music comes from heartbreak. and stuff not working out with her partners, right? But like she'll get with these people, these new dudes, and like I guess all personality goes out the window. All personality is just like all backbone. She's 34, okay? She's older than me, okay? Like a lot of y'all's faves, y'all just need to stop standing and start using your mind and thinking for yourself, okay? Because your faves are gonna have you looking embarrassed, and they're gonna have me out here telling you that you're under spells. You are under spells, okay? People, you are under spells. You are under spells, all right? They are a lot like. I find it rich that the woman who came out and said all of these things about how you need to stand your own as a woman rapper, how she's doing it for the girls ahead of her, how she's doing it for the women who never were taken seriously, how, you know, she fell out with Lil' Kim and came out with a diss track even though she literally stole her whole ass aesthetic, how she keeps putting these new rap girlies under 360 rap deals and unrealistic contracts and have them sign unfair paperwork when she herself rapped about it taking a couple M's to sign the dotted line and all that stuff. I find it rich that when it comes full circle, she is the same bitter Betty that she said that Lil' Kim was in her "You a Stupid Hoe" song. And in this, "You a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe." Like it's just, you're the bitter, like almost washed up, if you're not careful, washed up female rapper that is going off about how you need your flowers, how you need to be respected and honored, which you do get the honor, you do get the respect, you do get the flowers, how you need your money, how these girls need to respect you, right? But you don't. But like you haven't done that in return to the other women rappers out there before you. You got comfortable in being the only one, and then when these new rap girlies gave you some competition, because they didn't just have the bars, they had the performance value, they had the choreography, they had good marketing, right? Now it's a complete shit show. Now it's I'm still the only one. I'm still the queen. You know. Now it's, you know, we're not comfortable anymore. Like I said, she got comfortable in being the only one. She got comfortable in being the only girly pop, the only rapper that all the dudes were giving her attention to. Notice that all the dudes like respect Nicki. Like all the dudes really rock with Onika. They do. They do not rock with these new rap girlies. And what sends me about hip hop now is that the rap girls are a lot more marketable and can sell a lot more than the dudes. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how people didn't see this, but the rap girls can sell. They can sell fashion, aesthetics, looks, makeup. Like, women in music sell. Men in music, it's difficult unless you have a legion of women chasing after them and believing that, like, he's singing to them. But women in music, like, change the game, come out with aesthetics, styles, concepts. Like, people really cozy up to women in music. So it's crazy that hip hop didn't see after. It took after Nicki Minaj for them to truly, like, bank on the idea of, like, a woman rapper being that girl. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Nicki needs to go to the courthouse and bring it up with them. She also said in her about Rock Nation and their money. Now, mind you, I do think Rock Nation has done some shady shit before. That whole lawsuit with Megan Thee Stallion's videographer, mind you, it had nothing to do. Like, it was mentioned that he did feel uncomfortable when Megan was making out with that girl in the car, but it also had everything to do with him not getting paid his wages from Rock Nation. You know what I mean? Like, I do believe Rock Nation has done some really shitty things, and I do believe that they have what's the word? They have are trying to monopolize hip hop. I do believe that. And they need to not do that. They need to pay people their worth. But if you really want your money from them, like if you really, really want your money from them, if you really want Jay-Z to give you your $100 million or $200 million, go to the court. She also said a year from now, like, this stuff will implode, and then we'll start talking about, like, whether or not she was wrong or crazy or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know if it's going to necessarily prove anything if she doesn't, like, go to the courthouse and say, hey, Rock Nation, give me my money. You know what I mean? So, anyway, moving on. Superman. I haven't seen the movie, no. I have not seen the movie at all. So, like, this is, like, a general point that I have based off of me actually not watching the movie, but just having some... This isn't centered. Hold on a second. Having some initial thoughts about how people are feeling about it. Apparently, Superman is pro-immigration. And the anti-woke brigade, the people who coined the term, who stole the term woke and turned it into like this harmful, left-leaning adjacent buzzword, and Hollywood elites just screwing us over and trying to give us performative talking points or whatever. That group of people, they have said that the Superman movie apparently is too woke because I guess it talks about immigration. I guess it makes digs at Israel. I haven't seen the movie. Honestly, I'm gonna wait for the movie to come on to streaming services. I'm not gonna watch the movie in the theater. I'm not really interested, in all honesty. I've never really liked Superman as a superhero. He was never really a favorite to me. I don't know, the idea of him just being too perfect just bothered me a lot. But James Gunn is a really good director. He makes really good movies. I believe he did the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he also did Peacemaker, that series, which was really, really good. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a good movie when I eventually sit down to watch it. But to the anti-woke brigade, who's angry because this is too politically correct or PC or whatever, I just have a message. I have something to say. Like, what if I told you that everything is kind of political and therefore woke? Like, what if I told you that, right? Like, I know it's a crazy concept, this crazy libtard sitting up here telling me that everything's political and everything's woke, okay? Most of the media and the content that you consume is political. How you choose to connect with those politics or engage in those politics is up to you. But a lot of the music you listen to, a lot of the movies you watch, a lot of the shows you watch, a lot of the video games you play have somewhat political undertones. I can't speak too much for video games because I don't play a lot of them, right? But this whole idea of, why do we have to keep putting our politics in everything? Why does everything have to be so woke? Why does everything have to be so politically correct, right? It's kind of the world, sweetheart. Like, it's kind of life, all right? Like, your favorite, like, for example, what's a really good movie that everybody rocks with? What, Top Gun? Yeah, isn't this like a political... This is like a manly movie that I feel like a lot of the anti-woke brigade would fuck with. But, like, this movie and then, like, Maverick, right? That was the sequel? Was this the sequel? Yeah, bro, this is like a political movie about people who fly planes. I haven't watched this movie either, but this movie is political, okay? A lot of the video games you play, incredibly political, okay? A lot of the music you listen to, political. I'm pretty sure punk and alternative music is built off the backs of like anarchy and fuck the system and all that type of shit. a lot, like your existence, like me having the privilege of like living where I live and getting up here and being able to rant and yap to you guys about what is political and what isn't, or what is political correctness and wokeness and all of that. Like that's political, okay? Like your whole existence is built off of politics. And yes, you do have the right to say that or to question the politics, or to say that you don't really want to engage in it as heavily in regards to not really, like, for example, for me, I can't talk about politics all the time. Like, I really can't. If I do, I'll like spontaneously combust, okay? But I also know that me just existing and the music I consume and a lot of the content I consume has like some sort of political message behind it, all right? It has something to say. It has something bigger to say. You know what I mean? But I would argue that you being able to actively choose to opt out and say that not everything has to be political, not everything has to be woke, is, very political in and of itself, because it attests to you living in a country that allows you to say whatever you want, talk about whatever you want, and choose to opt out and have the privilege to opt out of things whenever you decide to. That is a political privilege. That's a political construct, in my opinion, So, you getting like butthurt, again, I haven't seen this movie yet, but you getting butthurt over the fact that, a James Gunn film is too woke or whatever, because Superman is like pro-immigration when he's like a literal superhero, okay, who has to save people. Like, that's part of the agenda. So, like, why wouldn't he want to save some immigrants, right? Like, that just shows me that you just don't like the movie because it has like a left-leaning agenda that you don't really agree with. Whereas there's like a war film coming out from A24 war film that I'm pretty sure a lot of the anti-political people would eat. Warfare, a lot of y'all motherfuckers would eat this shit up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this is a political film. This film is political. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, let's be serious, okay? Like, a lot of the stuff you consume and you enjoy is inherently political and therefore woke, and you having the privilege to opt out of the politics of it all is a privilege, and is also a political stance in and of itself. Okay? So, you'll be okay. I promise you that the other Superman still exists if this one is too woke for you. The Zack Snyder version, I guess, or whatever. If this one is too woke for you. And, like, I don't know. Buck up, I guess. Like, it's not that serious. It never really is. So, yeah. That's all I have. That's all I gotta say on that. But moving on. Okay, so I mentioned that my favorite animes were Nana and Madoka Magica. But a close like third that I really rocks with heavy, I rocks with heavy, is this shit right here. Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. I love this I love this anime. But guess when the first season came out. I want you to guess when this first season came out, okay? I need y'all to guess. Like 15 plus years ago? When I was 15 years old? 15. I was a whole minor, okay? I could not drink. I could not vote. I could not drive. I can drive now. Still carless, but I can drive now, okay? Is when I was watching this anime. Is when my body chemistry changed when I listened to the song E-City Rock. Yeah, when I listen to this song, Anarchy, yeah, this song with Teddy Lloyd, apparently he's still like, he still DJs at a MomoCon, which is cool. It's cool. You guys are Atlanta natives and you want to go to MomoCon. But yeah, I was streaming the hell out of this shit when I was 15 years old while my aunt had freaking, what was it? Marvin Sapp in the background and gospel music in the background. I was on this time, ho. Like, shit. But, like, regardless, okay? I need reparations for how long the show went on hiatus, because we went from me not being able to drink, not being able to vote, not me being able to drive, to now, fast forward, 15 years later, I can do all of those things, and now I got grown woman problems. Like, I got grown woman issues, okay? You know, and it's great to see this anime come back. I really like the first episode. I think that the first episode looks promising. I like the voice actors. I've been watching it dubbed. I've come to terms that I'm a dubbed anime watcher, and that's okay. I'm just gonna be very particular over like which dub animes that I choose to watch. But okay. This show was on hiatus for way too long. Cause what do you mean it's coming back after 15 years and I'm like 30? I'm going to be 31. Like girl, I need reparations. That's all I'm gonna say. I need reparations. Like, this season better be the greatest season ever. After this season, we better have like a healthy 3 or 4 more seasons after that. Like, girl, cause they owe me. Studio Trigger. Is this the studio that worked on it? It's either Trigger. Yeah, it's Studio Trigger. Let me look up what studio. No. Studio Trigger. Yeah, y'all owe me, girl. Y'all owe me. You owe me some reparations, all right? Because the cliffhanger on season 1, when Stocking diced Penny into pieces and just left, and that's just how they left it, girl. Now the show is good. And I encourage everybody to watch it. Start watching it from season 1 if you can on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's on any other platforms right now, but like, watch it on from season 1 and then watch this season, because like the cliffhanger, like, anybody who hasn't watched Period Stocking with Garter Belt, I just need you to imagine the year is like, oh my god, it's 2025 right now. The year is 2010, all right? The year is 2010, okay? And the series is finally ended, and the cliffhanger, and I just need you, when you get to the very last episode of season 1, as you see how it ends, right? I need you to imagine that after that, you have to wait 15 whole years for a second season to come out to explain the complete mindfuck of what happened in the very last episode. And you have to live with that pain and that guilt for a healthy 15 years. I need you to imagine that, because that's how I feel right now. And like I said, I'm excited to watch the show now, but girl, I was so angry when I realized there was going to be no season 1 or season 2. I was so pissed off when I realized there wasn't going to be season 2. All right, I need my reparations. But this I like this show. And I'm glad it's coming back. It's like my 3rd favorite anime, honestly. Yeah, it's just crazy how much time has flown and how different of a person I am. However, I occasionally, here and there, I will jam out to D City Rock because I really like this song. So, yes. Even the references from this music video that came out, like, they were referencing Telephone from Lady Gaga, girl. Like, Telephone, like, that's an iconic song, but Telephone came out, like, a few months before this show had came out. Like, girl, like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on. Watch Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt. If you haven't seen the first season, see the first season and just imagine there's like a 15-year-long hiatus that you have to wait for. And you're watching the very last episode. And I think you'll get a kind of like an idea and feeling of what I went through when I first watched this series and had to wait so long. You'll get an idea, all right? Moving on. Very briefly, I want to talk about this in all of its low pixelation glory. The women empowerment grifters are not your friends. Apparently, this creator, her name is MJ Gray on TikTok. I want to pull up my TikTok. I talked about this briefly yesterday, but I'll pull it up again because it seems like more people are here. Hello. But this lady right here, this person right here, who gives like self-help advice and like whatever the hell else. I don't know. It feels like she's just a model in LA. Like a model in LA trying to catch a grip. And that's fine. You can be a model in LA and try to catch a grip. That's fine. However, this grift is harmful and I fucking hate it. Okay? The women empowerment grifters are not your friends. Alright? And I guess she got exposed for saying something really shitty about like women who like listen to her, look up to her for advice, and said something along the lines of, you know, the women said something offensive and then said that the women who follow her are bad bitches. They're not like ugly ass bitches who are broke and have nothing going for themselves, which like newsflash is most of America right now, and probably her, honestly, quiet as it's kept. But like, you know, this is we don't have a fourth one, so I'm just gonna call them the three horsemen of like fake pseudo intellectual advice, right? We have the flawed villain over here, we have MJ Gray here, and then we have the wizard Liz over here. These women who are capitalizing off of the hetero pessimistic era that we're coming from right now. Shout out to Khadija Maboe for coming out with the term hetero pessimistic, which basically means that the disdain that the heterosexuals are having against the opposite sex, towards the opposite sex, the disdain that men are having towards women, and the disdain that women are having towards men. We are in that era on the internet and on social media. For some reason, I guess TikTok thinks that I am single. I don't know why, but they think I'm single and I'm not. Because they keep giving me this type of advice. They keep like shoving it down my throat, and I try to delete it, and it always comes back in one way, shape, or form. But I need you to understand that this isn't feminism. This advice that the wizard Liz, MJ Gray, unflawed villain, this isn't feminist talking points, right? This isn't empowering. I've heard that the girls are calling it fifth wave feminism now, where it's clocking girls who have some sort of appeal towards the male gaze. That's really what it is. Like, as soon as they're showing some sort of attraction from the male gaze, it's an immediate hatred, it's an immediate disdain, and then it's an immediate attack of calling them a pick-me. You know what I mean? Why I don't like MJ Gray is it's because I feel like her talking points are performative. One time she tried to make a talking point while talking about Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, and Meghan Markle. And like, I was just like really confused where she was going with that point. Maybe that's like a litmus test for how you feel about yourself as a woman if you have disdain for any of those women. But I don't know, it just felt weird. But a lot of these girls that give like this fake empty advice, a lot of these women they don't have your best interest at heart. A lot of them are leveraging feminist talking points when it benefits them, while also, a lot of them are leveraging women empowerment advice, right? But also utilizing patriarchy when it benefits them. And then when it does not benefit them at all, or when they see that they can't benefit from the patriarchy, then the heteropessimism starts, and then they start bashing men, right? If you are a feminist, okay? If you're a feminist, not this fifth wave feminist bullshit, right? But like a fourth wave feminist, which was, from my understanding, standing for equality for all types of people, women, marginalized groups, even men, you would understand that men also do suffer under patriarchy. And therefore, to harbor anger or pessimism, aggressive pessimism towards men, isn't productive in the fight towards deconstructing patriarchy. And so a lot of these women who will sit up here for hours and hours on end talking about how you need to decenter men, talking about all the ways you need to decenter men, talking about the male nature, talking about how the male's true intentions are, and how the male species is incapable of love, and men suck, and men are awful, and men are terrible, and all this other bullcrap. A lot of these women aren't actively doing the work to deconstruct patriarchy, to talk about, like, why our young boys are raised at a young age to show no emotion and no feeling. Okay? Chip nail polish, sorry. Not that's like inherently should be their responsibility, but I think it contributes to a much bigger conversation about how harmful patriarchy can be, right? And how it affects everybody, and will almost 100% absolutely all the time be willing to put their women, especially their women audience, under the bus if it means they can benefit from patriarchy themselves. This woman sat up here and apparently said that her audience is in pretty bad bitch get money hoes, right? I don't know. And like shitted on her whole entire audience. The wizard Liz alienated herself from her audience and demanded that her audience support her and her current husband regardless, even though he cheated on her or attempted to cheat on her, and has immediately gotten pregnant by him. Mind you, I don't even know if this dude does anything with his life at all, if he's like successful or if he makes a lot of money. I don't really know. And then Unflawed Villain is regurgitating talking points that some of the black women in these spaces have done, and just doing it with a white face while like borderline being racist as well. And I think supporting Trump too, if that bugs you. But like I said, a lot of these women don't have your best interests at heart. A lot of these women don't care about you. A lot of these women are no better than the pick-me girls that are trying to teach you how to get husbands. I'm gonna pull up the horseshoe theory real quick. Okay. Real quick. Okay, so on the far right, you have the pick-me women. Okay, you have the pick-me women over here. Okay? The women that are trying to teach you how to obtain a husband and saying that you can't wear this, and that in order to obtain a husband, and you have to be subservient, you have to be God-fearing, because eventually you're going to get a husband. And eventually you're going to be a mother and a wife and a kid, a wife and eventually you're going to be a wife, you're going to be a mother, and that is like the peak role of your existence as a woman. It doesn't get any better than that, so we have to train you, groom you, and develop elements of pick-meism so that you can eventually be a traditional, God-fearing, submissive wife, okay? Any woman who steps outside of the norm of that is a slut. She is a whore. She is a fast woman. She's washed up. She's whatever you want to call her, but she's a slut. Any woman who says, hey, I actually don't want kids. I kind of want to prioritize my career. I kind of want to have a lot of money. I kind of want to, maybe I don't even want to have a lot of money. Maybe I just want to exist and be able to preserve myself, because children are a lot of work and it's getting harder and harder to raise them in an environment where the economy's unstable, where there's no third places for kids, where everything's being privatized. Maybe I don't want to have children, right? Maybe I don't believe in the idea or the concept that my peak existence is me being a wife and having kids, all right? Slut. The pick-me girls think you are a slut. You are a slut and you are a whore because you're not doing your God-given right as a woman. All right? Slut. Center is slut. All right? Far left. Far, far, far left. Far, far, far left. Okay? I'm not even going to entertain these two because like, these are like the rational, right? These are like the shades of gray girlies, right? So like Far right is the pick me girl, traditional wife, Nara Smith bullshit. Right is probably, I don't know, the girl who's like dating and still looking to getting married and having kids and probably won't do anything too crazy in hopes of obtaining a husband. And any girl that does something remotely crazy, they inch along the idea of calling them a slut. Okay. Like they're leaning towards calling them a slut, right? All right. Far left is this like new wave, fifth wave feminism is what they want to call it. Okay. Where it's them saying, well, we gotta decenter men. We have to decenter men. We can't give them kids. We can't give them children. We can't give them any of that, right? Men are awful. Men are terrible. Men are disgusting. Men are gross. Men are incapable of love. At this point, sometimes I question the far left and I ask, do you want to like bump purses with a girl? Like, is this where we're going with this? Because like, if you gay or bisexual, you can just say that. Like, it is okay. Like, you know, I will judge you, but like, you're getting to the point where like you're hating on dudes so much that, which isn't fair because like, not every single gay woman hates men, and not every single bisexual woman hates men, right? But it's also just like, girl, like the way you talking about men, like maybe you should try. Maybe you should try bumping purses once. Maybe it might be good for you, okay? But like the girls over here are like, no, men suck. Fuck the male gaze. Fuck what men think. Rawr. I hate them. Grr. Decenter men. You just broke up with your boyfriend. We don't have time for this shit. You have to decenter that man that you just broke up with after 8 years. That man broke your heart. Decenter him. We don't have time to cry over this dude. Why would we have time crying over this dude? Why would we have time have feelings after somebody that we actually cared for hurt us? No, we don't have time. Move over. Decenter him. Stop being a pick-me. You don't want to be a pick-me. Pick-me bad. We hate the pick-me's, right? Far left, okay? Far left. All right? Also has thrown out the idea of choice feminism. They don't like choice feminism. They don't like the idea that some girls might like to get their hair pulled. Okay, I'm just saying. They don't like the idea that some girls, you know, might be deemed sexually attractive in the eyes of the male gaze. And not in the eyes of them, you know? There are plenty of girls, like, for example, for a minute, I couldn't understand why everyone thought Kim Kardashian was so attractive. Like, I thought she just looked okay, you know? But I didn't really, like, see her as super attractive. Same with Saweetie. I thought she just looked okay, but to me, they always look like really like overdone surgery wise. You know what I mean? But I digress. These women don't understand how women like Sydney Sweeney or Sabrina Carpenter like pander to the male gaze. And as soon as they do that, as soon as Sabrina Carpenter comes out with an album where she's getting her hair pulled, as soon as Sydney Sweeney says that she wants to or does a sell your bath water campaign to collect a legion of simps for herself so that they can like support her career wherever the hell it's going, right? As soon as they do anything to pander to the male gaze, right? Anything. Like they play into that fantasy, right? Or maybe they enjoy that fantasy. I really don't know. She too is also a slut. She too is also disgusting. She too is also gross. She too is also, like, you know, they'll say she's a pygmy, right? But in actuality, they want to call her a slut because they don't understand why they would do something as gross and demeaning as that. Far left girly pops also really hate swipers. They hate swipers. Because again, you're doing this for the male gaze. You are making money off the backs of insecure dudes for the male gaze. Okay, sluts. All right, both sides, both the pick-me girls that are trying to teach you how to get a husband, and both the women empowerment girls that are saying that all men are trash and you need to decenter men, are still trying to call the girls who choose not to align with this side or this side, the pick-me or the fifth wave feminism. They're still trying to call them a slut. The far left will say that you are a pick-me, but really they want to just call you a slut. That's really what they're trying to say. And the far right girls who are pick-me's are just gonna jump right to calling you a slut. All right. And that's the problem I have with these women empowerment spaces, okay? Because this was the same girl who was like, I don't like what Sabrina Carpenter's doing when she's on her knees with this dude pulling her hair. Girl, why don't you worry about that sugar daddy you used to have, allegedly? And again, nothing's wrong with a sugar daddy. Nothing's wrong with a sugar daddy. Get your money. Get your money. But I do find it funny that a lot of these girls that are transitioning into this new idea of like women empowerment type of content, where they're encouraging women to speak, or they're encouraging women to be against men and develop this form of heteropessimism towards men and decenter men. Two things. First thing I noticed is that all these women have dibbled and dabbled allegedly into some form of swipe work, right? This girl used to be a stripper. This girl allegedly had a sugar daddy. This girl also allegedly had a sugar daddy. Interesting. They're also the same women that will probably show a lot of disdain towards swipers who engage in that work, or any sort of kink play that kind of aligns with that work as well. Not so much the Wizard Liz, but like her, definitely. I do find that rich. I do find it rich that when swipers want to rebrand as somebody who used to do like OF, their grift goes to giving women advice on the game, on how male nature actually is. I do find that interesting. Now, not all the women do that, right? I try my best not to do that. Like, I try my best not to, like, I can't talk about how to decenter men for 5 hours straight like these women do. But they almost are always coming from environments where they see like men at their worst, right? Like when I was an OF girl, I knew that like a lot of these dudes were like horny. They were not really into me like that. They did not like me like that. That they were only into my body and what I could do for them. And I kind of accepted that reality. I knew that I was dealing with the worst type of dude. I knew that like dudes outside of that, right? That I knew, that actually treated me like with respect, wouldn't try and like they wouldn't harm me in any way. However, and I'm going to put a pin in however, because I'm having some realizations, right? I understand why this women empowerment space is needed, and I understand the current misandry a lot of women are going through, because like there has been a lot of an attack. There has been a huge attack towards women lately. Like it's always been there, but it's been more prominent. So I understand why it's there. I just know that a lot of these type of women that are come out now, a lot of them are just grifters trying to ride a wave. Maybe because they don't want to be in the strip club anymore. Maybe because the sugar daddy bread ran low. Maybe because they need to figure out a way how to garner a new audience. I don't know. But I do notice a lot of these girls are seeing men at like their lowest. Like at like their lowest vibration or whatever. You know what I mean? I also want to end this by saying that to truly decenter a guy, if I can have my little piece of advice in the women empowerment movement that I can't stand, that I normally don't like to give advice in. But if you really want to decenter a man, the best way to do that is by actually finding hobbies and doing things where you do not have to think about finding a partner or obsessing over a man or obsessing over a relationship, right? And so that also includes not listening to 3, 4, 5, 6 hour live streams on why men are awful and why you should decenter them. Because unironically, you are still centering them by listening to content of women shitting on how awful men are. It's just in a different way. Now you're centering them based off of hatred. Now you're like no better than the red pill that came out 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, so if you truly want to decenter men, maybe put down the 5 hour live streams and how to decenter them. Maybe stop watching the TikToks of many examples of how like men do women dirty, even though we know under patriarchy it's like it sucks. And maybe just maybe pick up a hobby, do something fun with your life, learn a new sport, learn an instrument, do adult ice skating, do adult ballet, pick up Pilates, pick up weightlifting or CrossFit, get into wrestling. I don't know. Whatever the hobby is, learn drawing, learn how to paint, whatever the hobby is, okay? It truly has to keep your focus away from men, whether you are obsessed with trying to find out, whether you want to find a husband or whether you can't stand somebody's raggedy ass son. A lot of this content is still keeping you centered in men by trying to unpack and understand like the true male nature and how all men hate you, right? Like, you gotta find something else to do with your life. Okay, watch an anime. Watch Penny and Stocking with Garterbell. Okay, watch Penny and Stocking with Garterbell. And tell me how you feel about season 1, the last episode of season 1. All right, find something more entertaining to do with your life outside of listening to these people rant and rave about how men suck, and give you lukewarm self-help advice on how to self-actualize. Get a therapist. Right? That's all I gotta say about that. Okay, so Jojo Siwa, I'm not gonna stay on this too long, okay? The white Willas have been going through it. The white lesbians, girls. I'm sorry. Y'all have been going through it, girl. I think the black lesbians had a fallen angel too. I don't even know her name. I'm new to lesbian TikTok. Leave me alone, okay? I know it's disrespectful for I feel like I should not be there because I am a bisexual, but like, you know, there's nothing wrong with people watching, and sometimes the algorithm will give me a little news about what's going on with the lesbians and the white girls, the white Willas. You guys have lost a couple of angels, and the first one I think was Fletcher. I don't know a lot about her, but apparently she was like queer or gay for a minute, and then she started dating a dude. And then during Pride Month, she put out a song about how she's in love with a dude, and all the white Willas were like, "Girl, what are you doing? This is Pride Month. Now is not the time, bitch. Now it's not the time to say that you are in love with a boy. It's about the women. Go away." And then another fallen angel, unfortunately, is Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa has come out as bisexual, I guess. I don't know. And she's dating this guy from the real world, which I don't even know his name, so we're gonna look it up right now. But she met this dude while Chris Hughes. Okay, no, we're not gonna look at AI. Chris Hughes. Let me do this real quick. All right. So she met this girl, this dude, while she was still dating her previous partner. And apparently they hooked up on the real world. Or not the real world. Big Brother, I'm sorry. Big Brother. UK, I think? Okay. Panty and Stocking with Garterbell. All right, we're gonna go back to this real quick, very quickly, because I had to do some research because I looked at AI overview and I don't like doing that. Okay, Panty and Stocking with Garterbell. Apparently, Gynax might have produced this the first season, and then the second season was produced by Studio Trigger, which makes sense. Okay, I had to get that off my chest. Okay, back to Jojo Siwa. Okay, yeah, so she's dating Chris Hughes. Okay, and she's dating Chris Hughes on Big Brother, I guess, while she's hooking up with this guy while she has a partner at home that is like in full support of her. and ends up breaking things off with her partner to date this man and to hook up with this man. Okay. And after she got with this dude, she's been doing this like full blown like trad wife rebrand. She came out with this song called Betty Davis Eyes. Or no, she did a rendition of Betty Davis Eyes. I didn't really know the song, and I don't really care to know the song, honestly. I'll probably listen to the song later today, but it was originally done by Kim Carnes. I hope I said her name right, which I think is a rendition of another person who had done the song. But regardless, like, I guess my one question I have about this is, why didn't they center her necklace a little bit more? Like, every time I watch this, I see her necklace has been shifted. I haven't watched the whole music video yet, but I've seen this clip. And girl, I don't really know, like, what happened? Like, what? Like, this is embarrassing. Like, this doesn't even feel like her either. Like, I don't think she's like super hyper femme girls girl like that. And I think this is closer to her personality than she's willing to admit. But I think because of like the shift politically, she's just doing this rebrand because I guess that's the audience that she wants to attract and pander to. The MAGA people are really into the fact that she's like no longer gay. And they're really into the fact that she said like F the L and she felt like, the lesbian community was a cult or whatever. But in all honesty, this really doesn't check for her either. Like, this really doesn't feel like her. Like, this feels weird for her. I still can't get over the fact that they did not bother to center her necklace. Like, if they could just shift it the other way. And I think the reason why JoJo feels so inauthentic is because we're used to seeing her as like Boomerang JoJo Siwa, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that, but like outside of that persona, we don't really know who she is, and I don't think she knows who she is either. And so every rebrand she does, like, remember when she did Karma's a Bitch? Do y'all remember that? Like this like weird kiss aesthetic, and this was the girl I guess she was dating at the time, and I don't know, she was trying to pull from Lady Gaga and Elton John. I don't know who Miley Cyrus. I don't know who she was trying to pull from, but it was just like weird. Like, this was bad. This was bad and weird, and I don't know why she thought this would be a good rebrand. But secondhand embarrassment. But this isn't any better, right? Like, this looks just as bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like two ends of the same spectrum. One end, you're trying to be like force this bad girl image that we so clearly know you're really not about, right? But then on the other end, you're trying to force this like super hyper like good girl image that really doesn't work with who you are as a person. Like, she is not this person at all, okay? She's not. And I don't even think she knows who she is outside of being JoJo Siwa, the girl who sells bows and makes pop songs for prepubescent girls. And that's okay. Yeah, everybody has to find a time to figure out who they are. But I think at this moment, maybe she needs to step back from the limelight. Maybe she needs to step back and figure herself out and who she is. Maybe she needs to go back to the vault and work on her sound, work on her music, work on her singing ability, or what she'd like to be known for. Because this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is just pandering to a different audience. This is just Karma's a Bitch for red pillars. Like, girl, I don't know. Like, this is not it. Someone on TikTok said that JoJo Siwa is Sabrina Carpenter's Tethered. I believe it. I believe it. Like, this doesn't even feel. And then I don't know a lot about Betty Davis. I don't know a lot about her, right? But what I do know, but what I've learned is that Betty Davis wasn't blonde for a very long time. Like, there's so many different types of Betty Davises that she could be, that she chooses the blonde-haired one. Like, she was only blonde for like a short amount of her time. You know what I mean? Which is also very interesting. But she was also known for like taking on very serious roles. Like, see, she has brown hair here. Like, I don't know what JoJo C was trying to do, but hopefully she figures it out. So, rest in peace, white lesbians. Okay, I'm so sorry that y'all lost another soldier. I believe in y'all though. It'll be okay. There was this girl. I forgot her name, but she makes like angsty sapphic music, sapphic rock music. Maybe you guys can get into her. If I remember her name, I'll pull her up. I think I'm following her, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it here. I got a busy day ahead of me tomorrow. All right. Let's hope that I can get these like a seat upgrade. Maybe I can get in the 100 sections again. Maybe I can get into the 100 sections where I can sit at the very, very front, so I can sit down. Maybe I can get that. I hope so. Because I'd like to sit down and watch the show. But floor seats would be pretty cool too. But I also know that if you get floor seats, like, everyone's gonna be standing and you probably won't be able to see anything. So yeah, but we're gonna do Cowboy Carter again tomorrow to see Beyonce off, and then that will be the end of that. So yeah, so that's the end of my stream today. It's once again very short because I am very, very tired and I gotta get ready for tomorrow. I want to thank all of you guys for joining me though. I really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate that you guys keep engaging with me. Shout out to Cole for talking to me today. And hopefully I will be able to see you next week, same time. Let me know what time works for you guys for when you'd like me to come. I like the idea of coming in between 9:30 and 10 p.m. into, like, I don't know, 2 to 3 a.m. I like those time blocks for now. That also might change too, but it all just depends on what I'm doing with my life and what's going on. But yes, y'all, that is it. That is all I got for you guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you guys next time. Okay? Goodbye.